anybody, everybody, somebody, nobody, etc. Source: howtostudykorean.com. Below is a list of vocabularies to be used in this lesson. The following words are kept in the order below because this lesson presents them in that order.
모든 equal every 모든 것 equal everything 어디나 equal everywhere 언제나 equal.
Every time.
누구나 equal everyone 무언가 equal something 어딘가 equal somewhere 언젠가 equal.
Sometime, someday.
누군가 equal somebody 아무나 equal anybody 아무거나 equal anything 아무데나 equal anywhere 아무때나 equal anytime 아무도 equal nobody 아무것도 equal nothing 아무데도 equal nowhere마다 equal each 모두 equal all 다 equal all day equal place 언제든지 equal anytime nouns 젓가락 equal chopsticks 혀 equal 탕 지갑 equal
Wallet, purse.
기숙사, 돔 주소, 어드리스 메뉴, 메뉴 아시아, 에이지어 동남아시아
Southeast Asia.
눈물 equal tears 회의 equal
Meeting, conference.
고향 equal 홈타운 휴일 equal 할러데이 아기 애기 equal
Baby, infant. Verbs.
산책하다
To go for a walk.
사귀다
To go out with. To date. Adjectives.
무관심하다
To be indifferent.
심하다
To be severe. To be extreme. Adverbs and other words.
하루 종일
All day long.
예전
Old days. Past.
관심이 있다
To be interested in.
이때
At this moment. Introduction. Once again, the vocabulary list of this lesson is the lesson. While all slightly similar, these words are very difficult to understand on their own, so I dedicated an entire lesson to making you understand them. Here, you will learn how to say, every, everybody, every time, everywhere, etc., any, anybody, anytime, anywhere, etc., some, somebody, sometime, somewhere, etc., no, nobody, nowhere, nothing. I left spaces in the vocabulary list between different sets of these words, for no reason other than to make it organized. Everything everywhere every time everyone, everything all.
모든
The most common way to say every is to place the word
모든
before a noun.
모든
Looks, sounds, and acts like an adjective, but it cannot be used to predicate a clause or sentence. This means that you won't see the word
모든
at the end of a sentence, just like in English. For example, you can't say something like, he is every, even though
모든
ends in,
니은
which is the same as all adjectives when placed immediately before a noun to describe them.
예쁜 아름다운 똑똑한
The dictionary form of
모두다
does not exist, however, as I mentioned, like an adjective,
모든
can be placed before a noun. If you place
모든
before a noun, it has the meaning of every. For example,
모든 것 equal everything 모든 사람 equal
all people every person,
모든 과일
all fruits every fruit,
모든 선생님
all teachers every teacher. Those can now go in sentences very easily.
모든 아시아 사람들은 젓가락을 잘 쓴다.
All Asian people use chopsticks well.
모든 학생들은 하루 종일 잤어.
All students slept all day.
다,
Another possible word to use in similar situations is
다
is used as an adverb in sentences to indicate that all of something is done. One way this is done is to use it in a sentence with an object to indicate that some action was completed without leaving anything behind. For example,
저는 라면을 다 먹었어요.
I ate all the ramen.
저는 숙제를 다 했어요.
I did all of my homework.
저는 소설을 다 읽었어요.
I read the whole book or I read all the books.
저는 월급을 이미 다 썼어요.
I already spent all of my paycheck. In these situations using
모든,
and
다,
create a slightly different meaning. Left single quotation mark
다,
is more about doing one action to completion and leaving nothing behind.
모든,
Is indicating that the action was performed on all possible nouns after.
모든.
For example, if I say,
저는 라면을 다 먹었어요.
I ate all of the ramen. In this sentence, I am indicating that I have completed the action of eating ramen and nothing was left behind. In other words, there is no ramen left in my bowl because I ate it all. However, in this sentence,
저는 모든 라면을 먹었어요.
I ate every ramen. This sentence is a little bit ambiguous and a little bit unnatural because in most situations you wouldn't say this. However, bear with me as I use it to explain the difference in nuance. In this situation, there might have been many different types of ramen at my house. I would use this sentence to indicate that I tried every one of them. It is ambiguous as to whether or not I finished eating them, which means that there could still be some left, either in my bowl or in the cupboard. If you did actually eat every one of them and finished all of the ramen in your house, it would be more natural to use.
저는 라면을 다 먹었어요.
Because the action was completed and nothing was left behind. This is why I provided two translations for this sentence.
저는 소설을 다 읽었어요.
I read the whole book.
저는 소설을 다 읽었어요.
I read all the books. Depending on the situation, that sentence could be translated to either of those English translations. In the first sentence, the action of reading was completed on the subject, one book, without leaving any pages behind within that book. In the second sentence, the action of reading was completed on the subject, more than one book, without leaving any pages behind in any of those books. However, by just saying,
저는 모든 소설을 읽었어요.
I am more indicating that I have tried reading every book, but there is no indication on if I have finished reading any of them.
다,
Can also be used to indicate that all the members things that represent a subject do some action or are some adjective. For example,
사람들이 다 왔어요.
all the people have come.
사람들이 다 죽었어요.
All the people died.
부모님은 다 그래요.
All parents are like that.
남자들은 다 게을러요.
All men are lazy.
학생들은 다 공부하고 있어요.
All of the students are studying.
애기들이 다 낮잠 자고 있어요.
All the babies are taking a nap. In these cases, I have noticed that there is effectively no difference between using
다,
or.
모든,
For example, each of these sentences would have the same meaning.
모든 사람들이 왔어요.
All the people have come.
모든 사람들이 죽었어요.
All the people died.
모든 부모님은 그래요.
All parents are like that.
모든 남자들은 게을러요.
All men are lazy.
모든 학생들은 공부하고 있어요.
All of the students are studying.
모든 애기들이 낮잠을 자고 있어요.
All the babies are taking a nap. The only difference I can feel is that
모든,
is considering the subjects, although groups of people, almost as unique individuals things within the group, whereas
다,
is describing the subjects of groups. At this point, this is not something you need to worry about. Understanding the precise nuance is more about feeling, which you will develop with time. The similarities in these usages allow them to be used in the same sentence. For example,
모든 사람들이 다 왔어요.
all the people have come.
모든 사람들이 다 죽었어요.
All the people died.
모든 부모님은 다 그래요.
All parents are like that.
모든 남자들은 다 게을러요.
All men are lazy.
모든 학생들은 다 공부하고 있어요.
All of the students are studying.
모든 애기들이 다 낮잠 자고 있어요.
All the babies are taking a nap. All of these can also be used in negative sentences. For example,
사람들이 다 안 왔어요.
not all the people have come.
저는 라면을 다 안 먹었어요.
I didn't eat all of the ramen.
저는 숙제를 다 하지 못했어요.
I couldn't do all of my homework.
다,
Can also be used as a noun. In this form, it is usually placed before
이다,
or
아니다.
to indicate that something is or isn't. All, for example,
그게 다야.
is that all?
이게 다가 아니야.
This isn't all.
모두,
There is also another word that you should be aware of,
모두,
which has the meaning of all. It can generally be used in the following ways, as an adverb in these cases.
모두,
Essentially has the same meaning as.
다.
For example,
선생님들은 모두 똑똑해요.
all teachers are smart, which could also be written as.
선생님들은 다 똑똑해요.
All teachers are smart, or
모든 선생님들은 똑똑해요.
Every teacher is smart. In this adverb form,
다,
can also be placed after,
모두.
in the same sentence. For example,
선생님들은 모두 다 똑똑해요.
all teachers are smart. In this adverb form, you would not see particles attached to it.
As a pronoun.
In these cases,
모두.
typically means everybody or everything. Particles are usually attached to it. For example,
모두가 이해했어요.
everybody understood.
모두가 산책하고 있어요.
Everybody is going for a walk. Here's the part that is a bit confusing. Oftentimes when the sentence structure is just subject,
모두.
verb, the,
를.
is omitted from.
모두.
For example,
나는 모두를 이해했어.
would be better said as,
나는 모두 이해했어.
I understood everything, and,
저는 모두를 먹고 싶어요.
would be better said as,
저는 모두 먹고 싶어요.
I want to eat everything. It took me a long time to come to this conclusion, but my explanation as to why this is done is because in these cases,
모두.
is acting as an adverb. Therefore, it is not so much that the
를.
is being omitted, but rather that the
모두.
is serving a different function, and the sentence ends up having the same meaning anyways, just like how you would not see
를.
attached to
다.
in the following sentences.
나는 다 이해했어.
I understood everything.
저는 다 먹고 싶어요.
I want to eat everything. Oftentimes a word that represents a group of people is placed before.
모두.
In these cases,
를.
is usually attached to.
모두.
For example,
저는 가족 모두를 사랑해요.
I love all of my family.
저는 학생 모두를 가르쳤어요.
I taught all of the students. The same structure works when the group of people is the subject of a sentence. For example,
학생 모두가 기숙사로 갔어요.
all of the students went to the dorm.
가족 모두가 고향에 갔어요.
All of my family went to our hometown.
선생님 모두가 회의에 갔어요.
All of the teachers went to a meeting. Other particles can be attached to it as well. For example,
저는 선물을 모두에게 주었어요.
I gave a present to everybody, everywhere, every time, everyone. Tilde
나.
can be added to the words where, when, and who to mean everywhere, every time, and everyone. Particles are usually not added to these words. For example,
어디 이퀄 웨어 어디나 이퀄 에브리웨어 나는 한국에서 어디나 여행하고 싶어 이퀄.
I would want to travel everywhere in Korea.
우리는 동남아시아에 어디나 갈 거예요.
We will go everywhere in Southeast Asia.
밥은 어디나 맛이 똑같아요.
Rice tastes the same everywhere.
언제 이퀄 웬 언제나 이퀄.
Every time, always.
그녀는 언제나 늦게 와요.
She comes late every time.
저는 언제나 똑같은 메뉴를 먹어요.
I always eat the same menu.
저는 언제나 똑같은 시간에 일어나요.
I always wake up at the same time.
누구 이퀄 후 누구나 이퀄 에브리원 누구나 그 여자를 알아요 이퀄.
Everybody knows that girl.
누구나 우리 애기를 보고 싶어요.
Everybody wants to see our baby.
누구나 한국을 좋아해요.
Everybody likes Korea. Full stop. Something, somewhere, sometime, somebody. Tilde
가.
can be added to the words what, where, when, and who to mean something, somewhere, sometime, and somebody. For example,
뭐 이퀄 what 뭔가 이퀄 something.
the subject and object particles in general can be omitted from any sentence, although I don't suggest omitting particles until you have a very deep understanding of Korean, but they seem to be more commonly omitted from these types of sentences. Many examples.
나는 방금 뭔가를 봤어.
I just saw something a minute ago.
등에 뭔가가 있어요.
There is something on your back.
등에 뭔가가 있나요?
Is there something on my back?
저는 팔에 뭔가가 느껴져요.
I feel something on my arm.
저는 뭔가를 먹고 싶어요.
I want to eat something.
저는 뭔가를 말하고 싶어요.
I want to say something.
어디 이퀄 웨어 어딘가 이퀄 somewhere.
By the nature of the word somewhere, you are most likely to use the particles
에,
or
에서.
in these sentences. It would be acceptable to omit the particle
에,
from,
어딘가,
but less acceptable to omit the particle.
에서,
Many examples.
열쇠를 어딘가에 뒀어.
I left my keys somewhere.
전쟁이 아시아 어딘가에서 났어요.
A war broke out somewhere in Asia.
피가 어딘가에서 나오고 있어요.
Blood is coming out of somewhere.
저는 그릇을 어딘가에 두었어요.
I put the bowl in some place.
선생님들이 회의를 어딘가에서 하고 있어요.
The teachers are having a meeting somewhere.
저는 휴일에 어딘가에 가고 싶어요.
I want to go somewhere on the holiday.
저는 어딘가에서 커피를 마시고 싶어요.
I want to drink a cup of coffee somewhere.
언제 이퀄 when 언젠가 이퀄.
Sometime someday, tilde,
에,
is typically not attached to.
언젠가.
Many examples.
그 날이 언젠가 올 거예요.
The day will come sometime.
구름이 언젠가 거칠 거예요.
The clouds will clear eventually sometime.
저는 언젠가 경찰관이 되고 싶어요.
I want to become a police officer someday.
저는 언젠가 중국어도 배우고 싶어요.
I want to learn Chinese as well someday.
저는 언젠가 고향에 돌아가고 싶어요.
I want to return, go back, to my hometown someday. When I first learned about this word, I wondered if particles like
까지,
or
부터,
could be attached to it because
언젠가,
represents a place. I kept bugging Korean people to try to make me example sentences of these particles attached to,
언젠가,
and they always came up with nothing. I realized that in both English and Korean, it isn't logical to make sentences with until somewhere or from somewhere.
누구 이퀄 후 누군가 이퀄 somebody 누군가는 너를 찾고 있어 이퀄.
Somebody is looking for you.
저는 누군가의 열쇠를 찾았어요.
I found somebody's keys.
경찰관들은 누군가와 얘기하고 있어요.
The policemen are talking with somebody.
누군가가 지갑을 잃어버렸어요.
Somebody lost their wallet.
누군가가 그 파일을 저에게 보냈어요.
Somebody sent that file to me. In lesson 22, you learned about using
어느,
in sentences. Another usage of
어느,
is to reference a vague place or point in time. I am including this explanation in this section of the lesson because of the similarities with the sentences above. You would often see this type of thing in stories, poetry or news reports where the specific location does not need to be given. This would be similar to something like this at a start of a story in English. A long time ago in a faraway castle, or a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. In this usage,
어느,
is commonly placed before a broad indication of time or place. For example,
어느 날,
someday, an ambiguous day,
어느 밤,
some night, an ambiguous night,
어느 겨울,
some winter, an ambiguous winter,
어느 여름,
some summer, an ambiguous summer,
어느 마을,
some village, an ambiguous village,
어느 시장,
some market, an ambiguous market. Here, the person speaking writing this way because he/she does not need to specifically reference the time. Some example sentence.
어느 겨울꽃이 다 사라졌다.
Some winter, all the flowers disappeared.
어느 마을에서 애기 2명이 태어났다.
2 babies were born in some village.
그 다음 날, 할머니가 어느 시장을 구경하고 있었다.
The next day, the grandmother was browsing around some market. Again, like I said, you would most likely see these types of sentences used in stories, often setting up the scenario or something within a book. It is also possible to use a question word to refer to an ambiguous place, thing or person. This is most commonly done with the following words.
어디야?
Person 1.
엄마가 집에 있어.
Is mom at home? Person 2.
아니요. 어디 갔어?
No, she went somewhere.
뭐 우리가 이미 뭐 먹었어요.
We already ate something.
누구 나는 내일 누구 만날 거야.
Tomorrow I'm going to meet somebody. Using these words like this is quite advanced, and is not something I learned until a few years of exposure with Korean. What makes these usages even more confusing is that you can use these words in sentences when you are asking a question. For example,
뭐 먹었어요?
could mean both. What did you eat or did you eat something?
어디 갔어요?
Could mean both. Where did you go or did you go somewhere?
누구를 만났어요?
Could mean both. Who did you meet, or did you meet somebody? Distinguishing them, believe it or not, can be done quite easily if you train your ear correctly when using
뭐, 어디,
or
누구.
as the question word in the sentence. The stress of the sentence is on the question word itself. Pay close attention to the audio in the following examples.
뭐 먹었어요?
What did you eat?
어디 갔어요?
Where did you go?
누구 만났어요?
Who did you meet when using
뭐, 어디,
or
누구.
to refer to an ambiguous thing, place or person? The stress of the sentence is on the verb. Again, pay close attention to the audio in the following examples, and specifically how they differ from the examples above.
뭐 먹었어요?
Did you eat something?
어디 갔어요?
Did you go somewhere?
누구 만났어요?
Did you meet somebody? As I mentioned, however, this is quite advanced. You might not be able to hear the difference at this stage in your learning, but it is good to be aware of as you continue to progress through your studies. Full stop. Full stop.
아무,
Anybody, nobody
아무.
is a pronoun that refers to any person. When using it in a sentence, the speaker is indicating the person he/she is referring to is not a specific set person, but could actually be anybody. It is most commonly used with
나,
attached to it. This particle, when attached to other nouns as you will learn in lesson 58, often indicates the same indifference, meaning that
아무.
itself has, when used together, it can almost be seen as one unit that means anybody, as
나,
is actually a particle in itself, when used as the subject or object of a sentence. Particles
는,
or
가,
are not usually doubled up on top of.
나.
For example,
아무나 그 책을 좋아할 거예요.
anybody would like that book.
이렇게 좋은 학교에서는 아무나 공부를 잘 할 거예요.
Anybody can study well at this school. However, particles can be added before
나,
if the word being used has other functions within a sentence, other than the subject or object, because
아무.
refers to a person in this case. The most common particles you would see here are particles meaning to
에게 한테,
and with.
와 하고.
For example,
나는 아무와나 사귀고 싶어.
I want to go out with anybody.
저는 이 선물을 아무에게나 주고 싶어요.
I want to give this present to anybody.
저는 아무하고나 축구를 하고 싶어요.
I want to play soccer with anybody. When
to,
replaces.
나,
In these cases, we get the opposite meaning.
아무도.
Can be used as the subject or object of a sentence to mean nobody, just like
아무나,
particles are not usually attached to.
아무도.
As
도,
is actually the particle being used when using.
아무도.
The sentence must be conjugated in a negative way or end with some negative word like.
없다.
This is counterintuitive for English speakers, because it makes us think we are saying a double negative. For example, the following sentence
집에 아무도 있어요.
looks like it should mean there is nobody at home. However, as I said, a sentence with
아무도.
should end in a negative way. Therefore, this is correct.
집에 아무도 없어요.
There is nobody at home. There isn't anybody at home. Because of the double negative in the Korean version, this creates a confusing translation for the English version. In the English version, we can usually say either anybody with a negative conjugation, or nobody with a positive conjugation. For example,
저는 아무도 못 봤어요.
I didn't see anybody. I saw nobody.
저는 아무도 만나고 싶지 않아요.
I don't want to meet anybody. I want to meet nobody.
아무도 집에 가지 않았어요.
Nobody went home.
아무도 나를 좋아하지 않아.
Nobody likes me. Particles can be added before
to,
if the word being used has other functions within a sentence, other than the subject or object, because
아무.
refers to a person in this case. The most common particles you would see here are particles meaning to
에게 한테,
and with.
와 하고.
For example,
저는 그 말을 아무에게도 안 했어요.
I didn't say that to anybody. I said that to nobody.
저는 아무하고도 얘기하고 싶지 않아요.
I don't want to talk with anybody. I want to talk with nobody. It is very easy to be confused with these double negatives at first. To make it simple at the beginning, just tell your brain to use
아무나,
when you want to say something that ends positively, and to use
아무도,
when you want to say something that ends negatively. In theory,
아무나,
and
아무도,
are the same word in Korean, with different particles attached. One just happens to be used with positive sentences, and the other happens to be used in negative sentences.
아무,
Use before other nouns. Another function that
아무,
has is to be placed before a thing. Place time to describe it. The most common nouns you will see after
아무,
are
거,
short form of
것,
meaning thing,
대,
meaning place,
때,
meaning time. When
나,
is attached to these nouns, the speaker is indicating that the thing place time is not a specific thing place time, but could actually be anything, anywhere or anytime. For example,
저는 아무거나 먹고 싶어요.
I want to eat anything. I'd eat anything.
아무 때나 좋아요.
Anytime is good.
저는 아무 데나 가고 싶어요.
I want to go anywhere. I'd go anywhere. In the example above, you can see that
대,
is used to refer to a place, when the verb being used requires
에,
to be attached to that place,
에,
is omitted. However, when the verb being used requires
에서,
to be attached to that place,
에서,
should be added before.
나,
For example, even though the same place is being used in both sentences below, because of the nature of the verbs
가다,
and
먹다, 네,
should be used in one case, and
에서,
should be used in the other.
저는 공원에 가고 싶어요.
I want to go to the park.
저는 밥을 공원에서 먹고 싶어요.
I want to eat in the park. The difference between these two sentences is the same as the difference between these two sentences.
저는 아무 데나 가고 싶어요.
I want to go anywhere.
저는 아무 데서나 먹고 싶어요.
I want to eat at anywhere. Tilde
to,
can replace
나,
in these cases to have the meaning of nothing nowhere. For example,
저는 아무것도 먹고 싶지 않아요.
I don't want to eat anything. I want to eat nothing.
아기는 아무 데도 가지 않았어.
The baby didn't go anywhere. The baby went nowhere.
아무 때도,
Means no time. This doesn't make sense. Instead, the word
전혀,
introduced in lesson 34 should be used. It is possible to use other nouns after.
아무.
For example,
저는 아무 버스나 타고 갈 거예요.
I'm going to take any bus and leave.
저는 아무 말도 하지 않았어요.
I didn't say anything. I said nothing.
저는 엄마랑 아무 관계도 없어요.
I don't have any relationship with my mother. I have no relationship with my mother. However, by far the most common three things to use after
아무,
are
거, 대,
and.
때,
I would love to provide way more examples, but many of the examples I want to make with
아무,
and the words it can create use grammatical principles that you haven't been introduced to yet. The two most common grammatical principles that you haven't learned yet that would be used in these situations are making a command, introduced in lesson 40, and one cannot do, introduced in lesson 45. Here are some quick examples using those two principles. The only reason I am showing you these is because I think it is likely you have learned about these either by looking ahead or by using some other resource. Making a command.
가방을 아무 데나 두세요.
Put your bag down anywhere.
아무거나 고르세요.
Choose anything.
아무거나 먹자.
Let's eat anything. One cannot do.
아무나 그것을 할 수 있어요.
Anybody can do that. It also might be helpful to take a peek at lesson 58 to see how
나,
can be used when not used in these specific cases of
아무나, 아무거나, 아무 때나.
etc. In theory, I should have presented these words after I taught you about
나,
but in my opinion the use
나,
as it is used in this lesson is more common, and therefore more important, than the general use of
나.
introduced later. Each
마다
means each and is attached directly to the end of a noun.
날마다
Each day,
학생마다
each student,
금요일마다
each every Friday 30,
분마다
each every 30 minutes. When I first learned about this, I asked the following question to my grammar teacher. What is the difference between
모든 학생
and?
학생마다
The answer is so subtle, but there is a difference. The only way I can explain it is by saying the following. If you can explain the difference between every student and each student in English, then you fully understand the difference between
모든 학생
and.
학생마다
But really, can you explain the difference between every student and each student? There is a difference. I know there is a difference. Each has something to do with each individual student, whereas every has something to do with all students. I don't know. I always think I can explain the difference between each and every in English, but it's too confusing. Just remember that.
마다
Means each and.
모든
Means every. That is more than enough.
그 버스는 10분마다 와요.
That bus comes each every 10 minutes.
학생마다 달라요.
Each student is different. And with that, you have finished Unit 1. You have come a really long way from our first lessons. When you first started learning through our website, you were learning sentences like,
나는 선생님이다.
hopefully you enjoyed our first unit, and hopefully you didn't get too confused, because in Unit 2 you will start learning Korean grammar concepts that will not only make your sentences much more complex, but also make your head explode. For more info, please visit howtostudiokorean.com.